particular item. All right, and that is calendar item number 3, as amended, reducing that item to $716,982,976. Okay, now, we're doing roll call, Mr. Post.
Just 1 second.
Deputy General Officer Nicolello.
You want to say something about, okay, I'm going to allow you to say something before I say something, but I have something to say too, but go ahead. No, go ahead.
I wanted to explain the vote that our side is prepared to take. I appreciate and I thank each and every one of you for waiting. Unfortunately, we had offered to the administration to as well as to the majority to pay and bond all of the contracts for 2013 in quarter 3, which is to the total of $260 million to get the ball rolling, and that proposal was rebuffed. We considered possibly going higher, but we wanted to ensure that there was protections to ensure that basically what we've seen and what's being talked about throughout our state in regard to the investigations that's happening across the board on several of many entities, we wanted to make sure we have the proper compliance in place by making sure that
You're stalling! That's nothing to do with this project.
Sir,
Mr.
I've never interrupted you, sir.
Continue, please.
But thank you. But that being said, we wanted to make sure that there was protections in place, and those protections were also rebuffed. From our standpoint, we felt to get the ball rolling, there is no reason why we can't start the process by putting $260 million, which is already going to be RFP, and being able to bond that and get behind that today so we can get the process rolling. From our standpoint, there is not a necessity to borrow the balance of that money without having the proper checks and balances in place. And from our standpoint, we'll continue to say, we support.
Look at the picture on your desk we just put up there.
I don't have a picture on my desk, sir. Why do you choose to yell? I'm just curious.
Because this is insane.
Okay, but
This is insane. The electrical system alone is $360 million.
Let's be clear. We can handle ourselves in a very nice decorum. We don't have to yell at each other.
I'm not yelling.
I want to make sure you can hear me, sir.
But the bottom line is, let me say again.
Go ahead, tell me the part.
We support the 700. You're making my case for me. Thank you. We support $722 million for this treatment plant. I will say.
Then vote for it.
But if I'm saying.
No buts. Vote for it.
But
no buts. Vote for it.
Okay. Sir, you're going to continue to interrupt me. I'm going to ask you to be removed. It doesn't make any sense for you to continue to interrupt me. We will support the 722, but from our standpoint, and we've heard it from testimony today from the administration, that they do not plan to go to the market for that money now. They plan to go out for it over several years. So from our standpoint, we're prepared to get the ball rolling now with $260 million. Mr. Walker said on the record that they would not be bonding and going to the market for the subsequent balances until future years going out to 2017 over the next 4 years. It makes no sense for us to get the authorization now and then basically hope that the administration comes back to us with updates on how the Bay Park treatment plant is basically recovering throughout this process.
And let's hope.
The greatest checks and balances that we have is to ensure that basically the administration has to come back to us to make sure that the money that we authorize to them is being spent accordingly. I'll tell you like this. We passed a capital plan in 2010, and I saw some.
That's the past, sir.
I saw someone. I'm explaining something, sir. If you want to have a conversation, we can talk later, because it doesn't make any sense for you to yell at me from here. But I'm happy to talk with you. But the bottom line is very simple. From our standpoint, we passed the capital plan in 2010, and a lot of that work was never even done. The best way we can ensure that work gets done is to bond little by little, and that's what we're prepared to do. $260 million does not stop this process and allows it to move.
It doesn't do nothing.
It's not a little money. It's a lot.
It doesn't do nothing.
If it's something that you can't agree with, I'm sorry.
You brought up the
That's what
word,
we
you
propose
brought
to
up
this
the,
administration today.
you brought up the word hope, and I hope that plant does not go down.
Listen carefully, please. All right? We tried to reach a compromise today. That was reasonable. You heard originally that we needed the authorization in order to go out there and list the services of different contractors. And having the authorization was a security blanket for this county. I will tell you, we were prepared to go ahead with the $722 million plus today. Without any reservation on this side of the aisle. Without any reservation. However, at the request of the minority, I called down, and I think you people know, I called down the county exec and his staff to meet with us to see if we can reach a middle ground. All right, Mr. Walker did explain the various projects that needed to go forward and probably will go forward in the next 2 months. And they added up to $400 million. And we asked if they would agree to the $400 million so that we can go forward now. And then come back in September when we go for the electrical, whatever it is, projects that need to be done to the tune of 300 plus, that they would commit to that 300 plus in September. The offer was rejected. And so we have no other alternative but to put forth the ordinance that we are putting forth today. And it's not because we don't feel that this is a #1 priority. And I have to say this to you, way back in the middle of the first decade of 2005 to be exact, we had hearings on these plants, and the hearings went nowhere. And we can't afford that now. We saw what happened in October. And many of us went down to that plant, the Bay Park plant. We were dismayed at what we saw happen to that plant. But we were also amazed at the fact that they were able to get it up and running to some degree. But we realized then that it was an antiquated facility. It certainly would not take us into the next 40 years. And that's what this money was for. That's why we would easily be able to bond it. Because we had a commitment that this plant, once it was rehabilitated, would last 40 years. The bond market certainly would be very appealing to this plant. I regret that we spent your time and our time, but again, we had enough, we had discussion here. We tried to reach the compromise that was necessary to get this moving. I don't live in the vicinity of Bay Park, but I know a lot of people, and they're sitting up on this dais who did. And after seeing the devastation at that plant, we knew right there and then it was time to do something and do it fast. All right? We cannot predict what Mother Nature is going to be dealing out to us in the next, God only knows. All right? This has been a very hot summer. It's predicted that we still are in a very heavy hurricane season, and I'll tell you right now, we all have to pray to God that if we do not encounter another superstorm Sandy.
Yeah, well, prayer is not going to help keep us safe.
And if it takes $722 million to do it, then we should do it. And that's why I'm calling for a roll call today. This is not something we're playing politics with. This is government. We're interested in the health and safety of our residents.
No, you're not.
And there are approximately 550,000 residents who were impacted by that Superstorm Sandy and the downing of that plant. So I'm telling you right now, this is why I wanted you to know we were willing to reach a compromise, but the compromise wasn't good enough. So P.S. before us is that amendment of $716 million plus. And so we can continue with the roll call, Mr. Muller.
Deputy Presiding Officer Nicolella.